Hi, and welcome to Tilmamakes. I will talk about how I made a simple wooden shelf with basic skill sets and minimal tools. My goal was to keep the design very minimal and no joinery of any kind is used in this project. The only woodworking procedure used are straight sockets and drilling. The overall cost of this project came down to very less bucks compared to anything else available in the market. And there is a lot of fun in creating things in our own hands. I have tried to make this video an educational one rather than just a build log, and by the end of this video you will have strong idea about how to design a shelf based on your requirement. Before heading into the design, I figured out what size of lumber was available from the local shop. The easiest way for beginners to start is by getting lumber cut to sizes from the shop itself. Standard size lumber will cost less compared to custom sizes. I'm using 20mm by 40mm and 20mm by 20mm pieces. After a brief survey of designs available, at first design was about dismantlable shelf, and then I already had a small one made in that way, so I just wanted to try different variations. These are the measurements, and it's a tall rack. The shelf members can be dismantled as two ladders and bunch of sticks. CAD softwares really come handy in visualizing the entire project, and I have used Fusion 360 for this work. I'm using rubber wood as it is sustainable. It's cut from the local plantations. It's a medium hardwood and its cost is quite on the lower side. Beechwood is one more option in the same category. While purchasing, the length should be more than what's required in all aspects to accommodate all the cutting allowances. The usual garage shelves or workshop shelves are made from thick lumbers, and this one is made with thin member. This makes it look pretty and can be used in living room or as a bookshelf. This rack essentially belongs to loaded beam category, so we should understand what works best. Usually sagging and wobbly members, like in this case, entire structures swaying are the major concern. Even if we store heavy book and toolbox, the rack should hold it. We will see few case scenarios which will help us to design the shelf better and more minimal without using a lot of wood. Keep the thickness against the direction of load. This will avoid any deflection. Long members tend to bend more compared to shorter ones, so stick to right length. Wide mating surfaces give better stability. Since in this case it's designed to disassemble, I'm using 2 screws per side. See the leg orientation. Usually shelf is kept against the wall. Swaying can be minimized like this. To begin with, I'm going to mark 170 cm on the legs. It's not a work table, and there's no bench wires with me. I'm going to use F-clamp to hold. Just for the demonstration purpose, to help beginners with only basic tools, I'm going to saw using a regular hacksaw to cut the wood. Even though the regular hacksaw is meant for metal work, it can also be used for simple woodworking cuts, and it will give a pretty neat finish. For straight sockets, I'm using compound sliding saw attachment for angle grinder. It's not the best attachment because it's tough to accurately set the blade to 90 degree, but it will do the job. I'm using gloves and safety glass. Do invest in good quality safety gear. Be aware of the direction of kickbacks. These high RPM machines have got enough torque to cause accidents or injuries. The 4 legs are ready. I'm preparing 12 pieces as side support members, each of length 29 centimeters. And 12 pieces are ready. All the sockets are done. We have the pieces ready. Let's drill some holes. Before drilling the holes, let's talk on few basic concepts. I'm using screw joints along with glue, which is good enough for my purpose. Holes will be drilled in these shown spots. Many experienced woodworkers do drilling and screw driving on the spot directly without drill press. For beginners, this might not be the best way to carry out. There is chance of having drill not going straight or damaging the wood. Screws can be driven without making pilot hole or with a pilot hole, and it depends on the type of wood and the place where we are drilling. The advantage of drilling pilot hole is that it will reduce the likelihood of splitting, and especially when drilling near the end of material. Let's say I'm joining these two material, and on the top you have a shank hole, which is a clearance hole, and in the bottom there is pilot hole, whose diameter is less than the thread diameter. I'm going to mark the spots for drilling as per the measurement. An indentation is always helpful to drill in the right spot. A center punch is usually used for that. I am marking and indenting the spot using a pointer tip that I have. I'm using bench top drill press attachment. Actually, it's shaking a bit and I'm not able to fix it firmly to the base. I'm going to create the clearance holes required on all pieces. I'm using masking tape to mark the depth on drill bit. This type of holes have to be drilled on 18 different beams. Marking them one by one is time consuming, so I'm using template to mark the spot for drilling. I drew the details. These two templates I have used to mark the spots. But these holes are drilled through the end grain phase and I can't drill on the drill press. So I created a simple jig using the waste wood that I got from the same batch. Using drill press, I have drilled straight holes on the centerpiece of the jig. Ignore the other holes, only these two are required. First I drill using the jig until I get some depth, and then I take out the jig and drill to exact required depth. It's little important to drill these holes perpendicular to the face. It will help us to get a proper flush when we join these pieces. Let's assemble the ladders. Many beginner hobby people might not have a drill driver, and can we use regular corded drilling machine to drive screws? I tried driving screws with my corded impact drill machine and there is no torque control on it. Though I could do the job after a little bit careful handling, a driver will do the same with much ease. It started with applying wood adhesive to the joining areas. Here is a glimpse of driving screws using my impact drill machine, but I have driven most of the screws using Phillips star screwdriver. So it's a general notion that you need a fancy drill driver to kickstart your project. All your screws can be hand driven with a Phillips head screwdriver. Let's install the bushes. First I drill small pilot holes, then I drive the screws. I'm using 2 bushes per leg. Here we go, we have the two ladders ready. The shelf is made to dismantle, and I had a lot of 50 Phillips head bolts which I got for an old project, so I'm using them. You can use any type of fastener. I'm connecting the two ladders with 18 beams using these fasteners. And in the end, the design is looking like this. The screw heads are roughly sticking out, haven't done a countersink hole, and hence sanding after assembly isn't great. Better you decide when to sand before missing this slot. I have done sanding of all members after drilling holes before assembly. First I use a regular 120 grit sandpaper by hand, then I use 220 grit velcro sandpaper on my sanding disc attachment for angle grinder. While sanding, it will eat away a good amount of thickness or material if you press. Don't press, let the machine do job. There will be kickbacks, so slowly learn and understand the smooth motion required to handle this. Be careful while using this attachment. Coming to finishing coats, I tried with basic varnish, but it's changing the color shade. As of now, I'm okay with the raw natural sanded finish of wood, but I will apply an oil-based protective coat soon. I tested this rack for moments after completion. It's sturdy and it's enough for my purposes. If it's wobbling, you can go for X-bracing, which I've not done in this project. I added end stoppers in one compartment where I'm going to keep my books. Here is the furniture and I'm satisfied with the end result. Thanks for taking time to watch this video. I hope it was helpful and I hope it inspired you to create something new.